The Nairobi International Trade Fair is on. From the 23rd of September to the 29th, visit the Jamhuri Park Showground, Nairobi. There will be plenty of entertainment, food, innovations, and learning activities. You can also sample unique variety of products from local and international companies in agri-tech innovation and general trade. Call us on 0715 760 769. Email on trade@nitf.ask.co.ke.
The National Construction Authority presents the 5th International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition from September 25th to 27th, 2024 at Pride in Paradise Hotel, Mombasa. The conference, themed Leveraging the Potential of MSMEs and Technology for a Resilient and Sustainable Construction Industry, will bring together investors, inventors, and innovators in Kenya's fastest growing industry. Register as a delegate to explore groundbreaking innovations, meet industry leaders, and visit exciting construction sites across the coastal region. Visit our exhibition at no charge to explore a range of advanced building materials, construction technologies, digital tools, and smart infrastructure solutions that are shaping the future of the industry. Register now. The International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition from 25th to 27th, 2024 at Pride in Paradise Hotel, Mombasa.
Good evening, you're watching Prime Edition. I'm Regina, Manyara, and this is indeed KBC Channel 1. From Nairobi, we have updates on what has been happening in the last 8 hours or so, as far as news, business, sports, as well as the political scene. But we are also going to be coming to you live from Mombasa as we discuss smart construction. And introducing my colleague who is in Mombasa, that is none other than O'Brien Kimani. Good evening, O'Brien.
Well, many thanks, Regina Manyara, back there in Broadcasting House. That's right. We are here in the county of Mombasa. I mean, for the next 3 or 4 days, we shall be discussing more about the construction industry. And if I can give you some very interesting statistics. I mean, when you look at this critical sector, it contributes about 5.5% to the country's GDP, you know, every year, and the sector is valued at about 2.1 trillion Kenya shillings, and so it's a critical industry. But there is a challenge. It is one of the biggest contributors of greenhouse gas emissions, and so the question is, how do you continue to develop the industry while at the same time dealing with the issues of greenhouse gas emission? I mean, we shall be talking to the Principal Secretary in the State Department of Public Works. This is PS Joel Rumanyang. He shall be giving us more statistics and about this conference which is taking place here and what are the deliberations. So those are some of the issues we shall be discussing here.
They say the future is tech and we are not going to be left behind, especially when it comes to matters of housing in light of climate adaptation. Now that is going to be our center, or rather our focus tonight. You can be part of this conversation. You can get us on X at KBC Channel 1. But before we get to speaking matters of smart construction, let's have a sneak peek of what has been making headlines. Government forms an interministerial committee to spearhead efforts to end lecturers' strike, now on its 7th day. Spare me impeachment. Kericho Governor Eric Mutai apologizes to members of the county assembly.
They are told that they will be taxed at the rate of 1.5%. Where is the scientific study dating that particular amount?
And petitioners moved to court seeking declaration of the Affordable Housing Act 2024 as unconstitutional. I'm Regina Manyara, and my colleague is Lancer Odingo. Now, over 1.6 million Kenyans have so far registered to the Social Health Authority that is set to be rolled out on the 1st of October 2024. Nairobi County has the highest number of those registered, while Tana River County has the least. In order to improve the numbers, the Ministry of Interior and that of Health will be engaging the national government administration officers in their regions across the country to mobilize for the registration exercise.
Tuesday, the 1st of October, will see Kenya transition from the now repealed National Health Insurance Fund to the Social Health Authority. The registration process has been ongoing, with 1,676,242 people registered as at Wednesday morning. Nairobi County leads with the number of those registered, followed by Kiambu, Nakuru, Kakamega and Mombasa, while Tana River County comes in last with only 511 people registered so far. On Wednesday, national government administration officers from across the country were equipped with knowledge on how to educate the public on social health insurance and encourage more people to register.
Inform the community about the benefits, because there's a lot going on and they are not informed, so that they can know the benefits, they can register.
I am persuaded beyond doubt that we will deliver the registration of universal health coverage in record time and at minimum cost to the government of Kenya.
The government has engaged an overdrive to register 12 million people by the 1st of October 2024.
Our CEO at the Huduma Kenya Secretariat has written to the Social Health Authority asking them to utilize the services availed at the Huduma centers to register more Kenyans into the SHIF.
It's an ongoing target, so we are not stopping registration. We actually about 55 million people, because we give birth to about 1 million kids every year, if you look at the trend from the 2019 and 2009 census.
According to the government, the Social Health Authority will be instrumental in achieving universal health coverage by offering quality health care.
Whether registered or not, from the first, we shall give Kenyans a number. When they call that number, because they're in an emergency situation, a doctor or a medical paramedic will be waiting for the call the other side. They will take the details. Ambulances will be organized in an arrangement like what we have with Uber. And therefore, we shall quickly get the nearest ambulance to your location and take you to the nearest hospital, free of charge. This will be financed by government.
Previously, Linda Mama, for a mother to go and have a normal delivery, the maximum that NHIF paid was 5,000 shillings. This has been doubled, 100% increment to 10,000 shillings, irrespective of which facility the mother goes for delivery. It can be a private health facility, it can be a faith-based, church-run hospital or facility, or a private facility.
The implementation of the social health insurance scheme was okayed by the Court of Appeal last Friday. With barely a week to the rollout of the Social Health Authority, the government has maintained that this is the only way to ensure that Kenyans get access to quality and affordable health care. Nancy Okware reporting from the Kenya School of Government, Lower Kabete.
Petitioners against the affordable housing levy have termed it illegal as it overburdens Kenyans and denies them a dignified life. They told the three-judge bench of the High Court that the government hurriedly and forcefully enacted the law in disregard of the public participation, a constitutional requirement. And as Ruth Wemboy reports, Parliament was accused of overstepping their mandate by depriving Kenyans of property through punitive laws.
My Lord, in addition,
in a 6-hour submission, those opposing the housing levy, led by Dr. Magari Gikenyi, Okia Omtata put up a spirited fight before Justices Olga Sewe, Josephine Mongare and John Chegeti, citing the act an illegality in its entirety.
my Lord, you can only be limited under Article 24. And in that, it's not a blank check, my Lord and my ladies. The limitation must be reasonable and justiciable in an open and democratic society based on human dignity, equality, and freedom, my Lord.
We humbly submit that this court allows the petition on the grounds that the effects of the enactment and application of the said provision leads to illegal, unreasonable, and unjustified limitation of rights contrary to the Constitution.
They said most Kenyans rejected the bill as they already had houses or other plans for housing.
Parliament oversteps the bound of their powers in enacting laws that contravene Article 40 of the Constitution that clearly states that one cannot alienate property from Kenyans.
The state was also accused of abdicating its duty of protecting the vulnerable by imposing a mandatory 1.5% deduction for everyone regardless of their income bracket.
We are told that you are to be taxed at the rate of 1.5%. Where is the scientific study leading to that particular amount? The figure is so arbitrary that you can't understand what they are trying to achieve. There's no study to show that that's the figure at which anything will be achieved.
They also allegedly usurped the role of counties to plan housing. The petitioners also say that despite the mandatory deductions of the levy, there was no laid down procedure or guarantee that people will get their houses.
The fact that that essential information has been hidden from Kenyans offends Article 10.
The respondents' councils led by Charles Mutinda and Mahat Somane will on Thursday submit their defense of their affordable housing before the judges retreat to give a judgment. With day one full submissions from the petitioners, the bench has been urged to reject the act in totality, citing that despite the name being affordable housing, it is for the haves and not for the have-nots. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani Law Courts.
And on that note, we'll be taking a quick breather on Prime Edition. But a question is, what caused the inferno that claimed the lives of 21 pupils of Endarasha? As a memorial service is set to take place tomorrow. Do keep it right here for the details.
Pata the master flare kwenye star 570 hash option ya 4 na ushindi wako tunautangaza the 6th of October. Tucheze, tusaidie, tushinde!
The National Construction Authority presents the 5th International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition from September 25th to 27th, 2024 at Pride in Paradise Hotel, Mombasa. The conference, themed Leveraging the Potential of MSMEs and Technology for a Resilient and Sustainable Construction Industry, will bring together investors, inventors, and innovators in Kenya's fastest growing industry. Register as a delegate to explore groundbreaking innovations, meet industry leaders, and visit exciting construction sites across the coastal region. Visit our exhibition at no charge to explore a range of advanced building materials, construction technologies, digital tools, and smart infrastructure solutions that are shaping the future of the industry. Register now. The International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition from 25th to 27th, 2024 at Pride in Paradise Hotel, Mombasa.
Good evening once again. This is Prime Edition. Now, the memorial service for 21 children who perished in the fire tragedy at Hillside Endarasha Academy will be held Thursday amidst lingering questions on the status of investigations into the cause of the fire. 9 of the bodies will be interred immediately after the interdenominational service, expected to conclude by mid-morning.
At the Mwega Stadium in Nyeri County, preparations for the interdenominational memorial service for the 21 children who died at the ill-fated dormitory in Hillside Endarasha Academy are in the final stage. The committee planning for the final rites for the victims of a fire are on an inspection tour of the grounds, with the national government having pumped about 3 million shillings into the preparations. Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, who co-chairs the committee, says the event will begin early to allow 9 families to inter their loved ones.
The rest would have to be taken back to Narumoro because 10 will be buried on Friday, and then another 2, the remaining 2 will be buried on Saturday. And so that is how we will conduct the requiem masses for all of them.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will be among the mourners, with families having requested that the service be free of politics.
Tomorrow we will have a very short service that will begin at 8:30, and then we are praying that by 11 we will have finished the program.
Preparations to reopen the school immediately after the burial of the victims of a fire are also in top gear.
Once we are through with this, it is important that I mention we have 143 boys who have to go back to school and begin life afresh. We already have organized a dignity package for them. We will step in and make sure they are able to start off.
Questions, however, abound on the status of investigations into the cause of a fire, with the Directorate of Criminal Investigations still combing through available evidence for clues on what transpired on the fateful night.
That is something that the DCI can handle, and the latest, I think, is that they are still doing investigation and almost are at the tail end of what happened.
John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
May their souls continue resting in peace as we continue seeking justice. Now, the government has instituted an interministerial committee to spearhead efforts to resolve the ongoing universities, lecturers and university staff strike. Speaking after meeting University Academic Staff Union WASU and the Kenya University Staff Union KUSU, Leadership Labour Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua has issued an ultimatum to the committee to formulate a return to work formula by end of day tomorrow.
For the 7th day in a row, learning in public universities across the country remained disrupted as both lecturers and non-teaching staff downed their tools, a situation that the government says must be brought to an end.
We have discussed for some time. They have enumerated to me their issues and the challenges that they are facing, and we have agreed on a way forward to be able to end this stalemate.
Speaking during a meeting with the lecturers and staff unions, WASU and KUSU leaders, Labour Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua announced the formation of a special interministerial committee to negotiate with the striking parties in a bid to ensure they return to work. It said the negotiations to be held tomorrow will aim at agreeing on a return to work formula.
This team to sit down from tomorrow morning here in my offices from 9 o'clock. And they will sit here, and I will lock the door and lock them in here until they find a solution, because we cannot continue the strike.
The unions welcomed the government's olive branch, indicating their willingness to end the impasse.
We have agreed, therefore, that that team is being cobbled so that by tomorrow we sit and look at what it is that we call in labor the low-hanging fruits. If those low-hanging fruits are agreeable, then it is possible for us to go ahead and perhaps look at ending the impasse.
However, they remained adamant on not resuming work until the government meets its side of the bargain.
Dons throughout the country, you know the motto of this strike: strike until we strike a deal. Once we strike a deal, I will tell you when to resume duty.
Joseph Ohungu for Prime Edition.
To politics, more so in Kericho, where embattled Kericho Governor Eric Mutai has issued an apology to the County Assembly and the residents, a day after the County Assembly passed a motion to impeach him with a majority vote of 37 out of its 47 members. In his Kalenjin dialect address, Mutai implored both the Assembly and the community to pardon him for the alleged accusations of gross violation of the Constitution, abuse of office, and sexual-related offences. A section of the residents, however, welcomed his impeachment, saying he lacks any tangible accomplishment over the past years, questioning the whereabouts of the revenue from the county land list in Londiani.
I beseech you, the County Assembly, I am a son to someone too. I am a father, a husband with a young family. To the residents of the county, if I've done anything wrong, please, please forgive me. Members of the County Assembly, whom we have worked together with, led by the majority leader, for the sake of my children, please, please forgive me.
Tunamwambia governor ajitokeze next week, aende kwa assembly aseme chenye anajua kuhusu shida ambayo tuko nayo hapa Kericho.
Aongee na MCA huko kama wataamua kungoa yeye ama afutie yeye nje. Bas, sisi kama raia hatuna maneno mengine.
So this is just waste of time and also waste of resources. I only advise the MCAs to have a sit one-on-one with His Excellency the Governor to talk on this issue and solve. Wakizidi kwa hii njia, hata sisi raia tutajitokezea na kusema nyinyi nyote muende nyumbani, tufanye new election.
Our focus tonight is the future of building and construction, looking at where we live as far as climate adaptation is concerned. So there is a call to action by contractors to embrace green practices. For further details, we'll cross over to Mombasa County with O'Brien Kimani. To you, O'Brien.
Good evening, Regina. Manyara back there in Broadcasting House. I told you earlier on that in the next 3 or 4 days, we shall be camping here in the county of Mombasa. And what we are doing here is we are following up deliberations at the ongoing International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition, which is taking place here at the Pride Inn Hotel. It has been organized by the National Construction Authority as well as the State Department for Public Works, among other players. And of course, some of the conversations here are how to green the construction industry. I gave you some statistics whereby when you look at the contribution of greenhouse gas emission, the construction industry, is one of the biggest culprits here, contributing about 37% of the total emissions. And of course, when you look at the growth of this industry, it is projected to grow by an average of 5.5% in the next 5 years. So it's a critical industry, and the government is driving the growth of this industry through the affordable houses program. Joining me on the set, we are talking to the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Public Works. This is Joel Arumanyang. Thank you very much indeed, PS, for joining us here.
Thank you very much, O'Brien.
Very good. First of all, tell us something about this meeting. We have heard so many things, coming from various speakers. Why are we here?
Thank you so much. We are here attending a conference, which is the 5th one, International Construction Conference on Research and Exhibition, which is a premier event for National Construction Authority, done after 2 years. It was started in 2015, then 2016, 2018, 2022, and this is the 5th international conference. It brings together the industry players in construction, regulatory agencies, the private sector, exhibitors, and the academia. The State Department of Public Works is in charge of construction, and National Construction Authority is a regulator within the State Department. And this event was graced and officially opened by the Cabinet Secretary in charge of lands, public works, housing and urban development, Honorable Alice Wahome, together with my colleague, the PS State Department of MSMEs. And the theme for this year was leveraging on MSMEs, potential of MSMEs and technology in a resilient and sustainable construction industry.
And when you look at the last 4 episodes, I mean, this is the 5th one. What has come out of the last four conferences?
Yes, construction, as you said, is a critical sector in the growth of our economy. And this industry continues to grow. Research is one of the mandates of National Construction Authority. And it is through this kind of forum that the research findings done are disseminated to the industry, and so that it can aid on improvements. It can aid for furtherance of research and even our academia. There is a lot that has, in the last 10 years, that has happened in our country. We continue to experience growth in technology, and that's why artificial intelligence is one of the key topics. We have also seen the issues of contracting. We have now international agencies and development happening across. It's not only local industry, we also have international companies also participating in development. And we have joint ventures which have also come up that in construction, in contracting, there are complex matters from project management, and it is important that the industry is made aware of emerging issues. And this 5th conference tackles a number of other issues. We have the new code now which has come in place, which is part of the topics that will be discussed.
The National Building Code 2024.
Building Code 2024, which reviewed the 1968 code, and it is such an opportunity that we can be able to share with Kenyans and the industry players.
I mean, what is the nexus between SMEs and the construction industry? And you have put it, the PS for SMEs. This is Susan Mangeni was here, and she talked passionately about what the government is doing to link SMEs with opportunities in the construction industry. So where is the nexus?
The nexus, micro, small and medium enterprises in Kenya contributes 80%, which is a big percent
to the country's GDP.
To the country's GDP. And therefore, transforming or leveraging on the potential of MSMEs will be able to enable a lot of growth in our country's GDP. And the pillar, the 5 pillars of this administration, we must thank the President for supporting MSMEs, is actually to support MSMEs from the bottom of the pyramid to the bottom economic transformation agenda model. Focuses a lot to support our MSMEs, empowering them. We have the Hustler Fund, and this forum creates that platform, that network to ensure that they come on board on affordable housing, for example, which is also a critical field. MSMEs play a critical role in supplying the material, the Juakali sector, who also participate and even the employment creation is focused to support the MSMEs.
The MSMEs.
Therefore, MSMEs are at the center of construction.
Very well. I mean, we've been talking about how to entrench, green practices within the construction industry. How is the government enhancing these practices?
Yeah, the government is enhancing this through the various initiatives that have been done for the last 2 years. Remember the African Climate Summit, which was organized and led by the President, and also the Global Climate Forum, which was done in France and led by our Cabinet Secretary to discuss these matters. We have now decarbonization roadmap, which as a State Department we had recently with partners. This is a critical component. Remember, construction plays a critical role, and indeed the State Department of Environment has been also on top of this, and the country's agenda as one of the countries now. Our country is at the lead to ensure that we also tackle greenhouse gas emissions.
Very good. As we wind up this conversation, I also want to hear from you. There has also been concerns, I mean, not concerns, but, calls for players in this industry to embrace technology. Where can the two meet at the same time?
Technology is quite important. Remember, in the digitization space, this is one of the key pillars in the agenda of the fifth administration. And the President has been ahead of this, ensuring that we digitize our processes. NCA, which is our regulator, has onboarded a number of services using technology. And even at the State Department, we have also a number of services that is ensure that we also digitize our records. And technology using artificial intelligence, which is being discussed here today, gives out the role of like drones, the role of smart contracting,
as well as artificial intelligence.
And in our code, in our national building code, technology is one of the aspects that have been captured, which was not there before.
Very good. I mean, in the interest of time, we have to come to the end of this conversation. But of course, this is just the beginning. We'll continue to engage more just to find out more on what the government is doing to enhance the use of technology in the construction industry. Bwana P.S., asante sana for your time this evening.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Very good. Asante sana. I mean, Regina Manyara, back to you. This is the kind of conversation that we shall be tracking here at the 5th International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition taking place here in Mombasa County. Back to you, Regina, in Broadcasting House.
You'll be keeping tabs on that, but now, after leaving Pride in and speaking matters construction and the future of the building and construction sector, let's take a quick breather.
Avieta imerahisishwa. Sasa kuna njia mpya na rahisi ya kucheza Avieta. Dial *419# kwenye simu yako na ucheze wakati wowote.
You came to me in that hour of need when I was so lost, so lonely. You came to me, took my breath away.
Zangu watazamaji, katika sababu zingine zinazosababisha moyo unakuwa ni laini, iyadatul maridhi, ni kumtembelea mgonjwa, nenda hospitali, tizama watu Mungu amewapatia mitihani mbalimbali. Ukienda hospitalini, huyu mwingine hana mkono, mwingine hana mguu, mwingine amefanyia operation, moyo utalainika.
Njia ambazo tunaweza tumia ili kulainisha moyo uliokuwa mgumu ni kama vile kukithirisha istighfar, yani kumwomba Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala msamaha kwa madhambi ambayo tulitekeleza. Vile vile pia kumtaja Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kwa wingi, kumtii Allah, kutekeleza ibada, kusoma Qur'ani na pia kumtii Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Kau hadir kala ku sedih sendirian dan hilang.
To the corridors of justice, where a group of human rights defenders in Kisumu want the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to review charges leveled against Kenyans arrested during the recent countrywide protests on governance. The activists claim that the police falsified charges against them.
Kisumu-based activist Boniface Akach was arraigned at a Kisumu court to answer to charges of road obstruction, contrary to Section 58C of the Kenyan Roads Act, charges that the activist, through his lawyer Dorcas Olwot, claims are falsified. Akach, along with other human rights defenders in the Lakeside city, alleged that many Kenyans arrested during the countrywide protest months ago are facing fabricated charges, hence calling upon the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to investigate the cases and review the charges.
We're looking forward to a day that we shall not have citizens being harassed and being brought before court with trumped up charges.
Demands being made by the protesters in the recent protests and the demands that the people are continuing to make are those demands for a more just and dignified society.
Elsewhere, Busia Senator Okiya Omtata has moved to court seeking to challenge the appointment of Douglas Kanja as the Inspector General of Police. In the petition, the senator argues that Kanja was not subjected to a competitive recruitment process and therefore his appointment should be declared null and void. Justice Bahati Mwamuye certified the matter as urgent and issued an order compelling the respondents in the case to collect and preserve all information and documents they or other public bodies are holding relating to Kanja's suitability, nomination, vetting, approval, and appointment. Meanwhile, 8 Kenyans and 2 Ugandans were charged with robbery with violence that occurred on night of 25th July 2024 at Patent Steel Manufacturers. They were released on a bond of 1 million shillings each or surety of the same. The next hearing will be on 5th of February 2025 at the Makadara Law Court. And testifying in the case where Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandago and 2 others are accused of abuse of office and conspiracy to steal 1.1 billion shillings, victims of the Finland education saga told a Nakuru court that they missed traveling to Finland for their studies despite paying fees through the Uasin Gishu Overseas Education Trust account. The hearing of the matter continues on Thursday. The prosecution has 202 witnesses lined up.
According to the acceptance letter yenye tulikuwa tumepewa from Laura University, walikuwa hata wametutumia mpaka hadi emails kwa emails zetu. So nilikuwa nimepata kwa wameniaccept kwa student wa Laura University.
Nilitumanishwa email baadaye na shule that fees haikulipwa.
Opicho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
Now back to politics. Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka has condemned the planned demolitions set to take place in Kibra constituency, Nairobi County. Speaking during a tour of high-rise ward in Kibra constituency on Wednesday, the company of other opposition leaders, Kalonzo called on the government and particularly the Ministry of Lands to respect the court order and follow the laid-down procedure that will not disenfranchise the residents. The demolitions are part of the government's efforts to provide affordable housing.
Tuko na court order. Tunataka Ruto na wizara ambayo inahusika wafuate maagizo ya mahakama kusema hakuna mwananchi atabomolewa nyumba kabla kula kuona wale vile wanaweka wale ambao wamejengewa.
Msibomolee mtu ama mhamishe mtu hapa Kibra bila kujua anaenda wapi. Tuko pamoja? So we are here to fight for the right of the people of Kibra to housing. It's a constitutional right. It's not a favor from the state.
Hii manyumba inajengwa pale. Wacha ishe, tuwale watu wote wameingizwa ndani, na ni watu ya Kibra wamechukua manyumba, halafu Kibra ndio tutakubali mpango mwingine.
To health, where stakeholders have called for heightened public awareness campaigns on vaccine safety in a bid to improve understanding. foster confidence in vaccines and encourage uptake among people to curb the spread of diseases in the country. Speaking during the National Cohort event monitoring for COVID-19 Vaccine Forum in Nairobi, the stakeholders led by Dr. Bramwell Tongola from Pharmacy and Poisons Board said misinformation and disinformation on the effectiveness of immunization largely contributed to reduced uptake of the various COVID-19 vaccines among Kenyans. They at the same time emphasized the importance of continuously monitoring the quality and effectiveness of health products in the country.
We make use of the existing systems that we do have, because at the board we have existing systems to monitor the safety of these vaccines. So basically it's to put the information out there, and when events do occur, and it's expected that they do occur, we monitor them and we respond to them appropriately. When COVID-19 started, there was a lot of misinformation, disinformation out there, but with that also the government put in place measures just to counter that, where there was mass education, there was training that happened, and with that we saw that slowly over time the vaccine uptake actually was taken up by the public.
Program that was very key, and the Ministry of Health in terms of communicating and just demystifying the misinformation that is out there about the COVID-19 vaccines. And I know the Mpox vaccine, when it is here, the same also strategies will be employed.
To the counties where police officers from Meru County and Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Services officers have confiscated substandard maize seeds in Mikindori Market, Tigania East Sub-County, and arrested one suspect. Details of this story is making headlines in our county news roundup.
According to Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service Officer Geoffrey, the consignment was found in a shop run by a lady trader who was processing, packaging, displaying and selling fake maize seeds. Meru County Commissioner Jacob Ouma warned farmers to take extra caution and ensure that the seeds they buy are certified.
Tuna uwezekano ya kwamba tuko na mbegu gushi, na hivyo basi tunawaambia wakulima na tunawaomba wachukue tahadhari, wahakikishe mbegu wanazonunua ni mbegu halali, mbegu ambazo zimethibitishwa kuwa safi na ambazo zinakubalika kwa mujibu wa wataalamu, na ambazo wataelezwa ni kitu gani wanapaswa kuangalia.
Elsewhere, 38 women who have been suffering from fistula are receiving free treatment at the referral hospital in Migori County in a camp organized by the county government. Health experts have pointed out that the increase in fistula cases is caused by factors such as prolonged maternal labor, childhood pregnancies, and female genital mutilation.
If you look at the data, I think we may really work on estimate, considering the number that we prepared last year. But our projection for this year, let's see the projection that we made this year. We projected that we should be able to reach a total of 85 clients at the end of the camp.
Still on matters healthcare, over 5,000 residents from Nyandarua West Sub-County in Nyandarua County are set to benefit from a bigger health facility once Chamuka dispensary is upgraded to a level 3 hospital.
Sehemu hii kuna watu wengine wengi hapa Ujororok ambao wanaishi hapa, na hapa hakuna hospitali ambaye ni ya kubwa, na ndio tunataka hapa Chamuka tuwe na hospitali, na tutakuwa na maternity hapa, tutakuwa na sehemu ya watoto, tutakuwa na theater, tutakuwa na laboratory, tutakuwa na OPD.
Meanwhile, Law Society of Kenya Kiambu chapter has elected new office bearers led by Beth Mwangi Fundi, who have vowed to fight alleged corruption within law courts and quacks in the industry who have misled the public through false legal representation.
We'll form committees that will we look at all the masqueraders, and also look at that corruption, and we'll involve all the stakeholders in the legal community.
Finally, a family in Homa Bay County is in distress after the disappearance of their 3-year-old daughter, Mary Blessing Odero, last month. The family is pleading for anyone with information about Mary Blessing's whereabouts to report to the nearest police station as the search intensifies.
When the child got lost, they were with the elder sister, who is 7 years old. Someone talked to them near a shop and told them the father had come. By that time, I had gone for holiday at home in Kabondo, and the child ran towards where we are staying in the rental house, and she was not seen again.
For Prime Edition, I'm Christine Matunda.
Pata the master flare kwenye star 570 hash option ya 4 na ushindi wako tunautangaza the 6th of October. Tucheze, tusaidie, tushinde!
A very good evening to you. Thank you for watching Prime Edition. My name is Betty Kiptum. This is the business news. Tea farmers in the west of the Rift Valley have been advised not to uproot the tea bushes due to poor returns. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is calling for patience as plans are underway to institute sweeping reforms, including enforcing quality standards at KTDA-affiliated factories in the west of the Rift.
Many tea factories affiliated to the Kenya Tea Development Agency were rocked with riots last week as farmers protested poor earnings. Tea farmers in parts of west of the Rift Valley also uprooted their tea bushes after some factories paid farmers as low as 20 shillings per kg of green leaf. The government is urging tea farmers to stop uprooting their tea as reforms geared towards increasing tea quality will be enforced.
Tea Board of Kenya and other key agencies are working on administrative and operational reforms for maximum benefit of tea farmers.
Rigathi blamed the poor payout on the high cost of production that has eaten into earnings.
Farmers earn much less due to high cost production, low quality tea and financial management challenges, which require urgent action from the Kenya Tea Development Agency.
Speaking during the official opening of the Nairobi Agricultural Show, Rigathi says a number of agriculture subsectors are set for major reforms, including increasing acreage under sunflower from the current 60,000 acres to 63,000 acres next year.
To cut and aid importation of edible oils, we have supplied over 556 metric tons of sunflower seeds to farmers in 34 counties, with more investment in seed multiplication and coconut cultivation.
To cushion maize farmers from price fluctuation, NCPB is seeking buyers for bags of maize at its strategic reserves as it prepares to purchase the current crop from farmers.
The fertilizer subsidy program, Your Excellency, has driven a 43% increase in maize production, with food insecure Kenyans declining from 1.9 million to 1 million people in 2024.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
To housing matters now, the government is targeting to complete more than 200,000 housing units under the Affordable Housing Project. Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says already 145,000 units are at various levels of completion. The CS was addressing delegates during the International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition in Mombasa County.
According to the official statistics, Kenyans are contributing close to 65 billion shillings under the Affordable Housing Fund's kitty annually. Housing and Public Works Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says the government is working to ensure that Kenyans get their affordable housing units despite the demand being on the rise.
If I have 545,000 applicants so far, and I have not been able to achieve my 200,000, when I achieve 200,000, I will still have a deficit of 345,000. And this number, once we start releasing the houses to the people, this number is likely to double.
Wahome says by February next year, 200,000 affordable housing units will have been completed and handed over to the owners.
You know, we are only counting what is direct within our projects, but a contractor may have other projects that are benefiting from our work. And therefore, our target for 200,000 units is likely to be achieved by about February for within the year.
Speaking during the International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition in Mombasa County, the Housing CS is urging players in the sector to embrace artificial intelligence to bring innovation in the construction process. Speaking during the conference, Public Works Principal Secretary Joel Armanyong has called for the adoption of green building practices to cut down carbon emissions in Kenya.
As the construction industry continues to advance, embracing diversity is not just essential, it is strategic. And by providing diversity and inclusion, the construction industry can unlock new opportunities, overcome challenges, and build a more resilient and prosperous futures for all stakeholders.
Globally, the construction sector accounts for almost 80% of all green gas emissions. There is a growing call to make the sector environmentally sustainable by embracing new technologies.
Before we were using pen and ruler, but if now you are using artificial intelligence, you are likely to be faster, to be better, to be sharper, and therefore I expect that even the work will be much better. However, it is an area that requires a lot of transformation, a lot of discussion, because we also need supportive policy and legislation so that we can start talking about implementing.
The 3-day meeting brings together built environment experts from around the world to discuss the state of the industry and address emerging issues. From Mombasa County, I am Ann Mburu.
The National Convention Bureau is being operationalized to improve Kenya's prospects of attracting international meetings, incentives and conferences, as well as exhibitions. Kenyatta International Convention Center, that's Chief Executive Officer James Mwaura, says individual bidding for international forums has over the years put Kenya at a disadvantage.
Kenya is ranked third in Africa behind South Africa, Rwanda in meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibition business by the International Congress and Conventions Association.
Even in the Kenya coast, we have various hotels that have large ballrooms, which means we have the necessary facilities and amenities to host more of these international association meetings. Where exactly is the problem?
A little bit on improvement from previous years. Hospitality industry players are calling for reinstatement and operationalization of the National Convention Bureau.
Using that body, which could go by the name of Bureau, the Convention Bureau, or any other form have stated that will have a specific sole mandate of bidding.
The National Convention Bureau will spearhead bids for international and market Kenya's MICE offerings.
It's no longer just business, it's business and leisure combined. And our beautiful country, magical Kenya, has everything under the roof. Whether you're talking about city life, wildlife, marine life, ocean, skydiving, adventure, anything that you can think of, we have. So imagine hosting such kind of big MICE events and people come in and then they're able to combine it with leisure. The ripple effect is going to be great. And all this can happen just by creating the National Convention Bureau. And we should be able to, and I humbly request, that we need this Convention Bureau be created, be formed as soon as possible so that we can start getting the work on, we can start working on it.
Hospitality industry players are exploring collaborations and convergence of business and leisure travel, offering to make Kenya attractive to travelers.
A preference, but they need to be augmented with a bit of leisure tourism. So once you come together the private sector and you identify the specific areas of interest by the business-to-business clients, then you will offer to the global community a product that is comprehensive.
Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
The government is exploring offering more policy incentives such as tax breaks to boost uptake of electric vehicles. Investment and Trade Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuria says the government is keen on deepening electric vehicles to reduce the petroleum products import as well as minimize carbon emissions.
I'm aware that most of the automobile industries have been around and we have been operating on a different environment. When we move electric, we also need to make sure that we change the regulations, we change the policy, we change the laws so that we can fit in this new environment.
Electric vehicles are the forefront of this change. They will offer a cleaner, more efficient alternative. Loxia's commitment to offering a sustainable and innovative mobility solution aligns with Kenya's growing focus on lowering our carbon footprint.
They represent a shift towards a clean, more sustainable future in Kenya and broader region. BYD EV are designed with cutting-edge technology that ensures efficiency, reliability, and durability.
Microfinance institutions are calling for harmonization of regulations governing the subsector. Association of Microfinancial Institutions chairperson, that is Oscar Murigi, says the current multi-agency regulations has increased the cost of compliance and overall cost of doing business. The association is also keen on having a single regulatory body.
What we are asking is an opportunity to effectively contribute and make impactful contribution to the socio-economic development of the nation in an environment that is conducive, fair, and progressive. A well-designed regulatory framework will not only enhance transparency, consumer protection, credible industry that foster public confidence, attract the investment, and one that prioritizes consumer protection, but also stimulate innovation and growth.
The government of Kenya is committed to working with private sector to ensure that our collective objective of promoting financial inclusion to the bottom of the pyramid is achieved for everyone.
And that is all the business news we had for you this evening. Sports news is coming up with my colleague Daniel Wahome. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
I need to see the manager.
I'm the manager.
Do you know who I am?
Crystal Malikopi.
So you chose to work with Ronald. Probably some things can be bought after all.
At this point, it's about what's right and wrong. How much is Kaikara paying you?
Did I just hear my father's name?
Meaning the attitude? I'm not pleased with the decision that you made without consulting me.
What decision?
Lucky.
She's after my blood. That one. Good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome. Welcome to Prime Edition Sport. And the Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Kipchumba Murkomen, has refuted claims that there are plans to wind up the Kenya Academy of Sports and the Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya, EDAC. He said the government has no such plan since the two organizations play vital roles in sports development in the country. Murkomen was responding to questions in the National Assembly and said the Kenya Academy of Sports, which is mandated in identifying and nurturing talent at the grassroots, is currently facing grave financial challenges. According to Murkomen, the agency, which is fully funded by the government, was not allocated any penny in this year's budget. He said the academy requested 600 million shillings during the current financial year, but was allocated none. He urged the National Assembly to support him in his efforts to make sure that the agency receives the necessary funding.
Mr. Speaker, so far I am not aware of any plans to wind up Kenya Academy of Sports and ADAC. In fact, ADAC is impossible to wind up the anti-doping agency, Mr. Speaker, because it's a requirement of international agency. For us to operate as a country sports facilities, we must be very careful how we treat ADAC. And therefore, for ADAC, I'm very sure about that. For the Kenya Academy of Sports, though it may be possible that there might be a conversation between that and the Sports Kenya, I am not aware at the moment that that has been progressed beyond just basic proposals.
And Kenya beat Jersey by 6 wickets in their opening game of the ICC Challenge League played at the Wednesday at the Ruaraka Sports Club in Nairobi. Kenya will face Denmark on Saturday in the second match of the championship that is being used as a Cricket World Cup qualifier.
Man of the match and spinner Rakeb Patel led Kenya's charge after Jersey threw. John Tijina hit 47 off 33 balls, while Nick Greenwood scored 41. Patel took 628 as Jersey slumped from 128 to 4 to 207 all out in 48.4 overs. In reply, Kenya reached 208 in 38.5 overs as Patel backed up his performance with the bat as he scored 84 not out. Kenya now switches their focus to their second match against Denmark on Saturday. Kenya will also play Kuwait in their third game on October 2nd before taking on Qatar a day later and end their campaign against Papua New Guinea on Saturday, October 5th. The 6 teams will play each other in 3 Challenge League A tournaments between now and 2026 as part of the first phase of qualifying for the 2027 Cricket World Cup in South Africa, Zimbabwe and Namibia. The top 2 sides in Challenge League A, along with the top 2 of Challenge League B, which is running concurrently, will progress to the 2027 Cricket World Cup qualifier playoff. Bana Prime Edition.
The Kenya women's soccer team lost to Romania 4-7 during their round of 16 match at the ongoing Homeless World Cup in Seoul, South Korea, but they still have another chance to qualify for the quarterfinals. Kenya had a near-perfect Group A campaign after registering victories against Sweden, the USA, India, Poland and Switzerland en route to the knockout phase. They will now play Northern Ireland in their second knockout match on Thursday in their second attempt to qualify for the last 8. The week-long tournament has brought together a total of 16 women's teams and 36 men's teams. Kenya women lifted the Homeless World Cup title back in 2011. Men's handball team finally managed to participate in to win in the ongoing Africa Men Youth Championship in Tunisia when they beat Burundi 32-29 to finish 7th overall. The Kenyan men's team began their campaign in Group B where they were determined to make their presence felt but lost all their matches against host Tunisia, Libya and Morocco. They, however, proceeded to the quarterfinals where they faced Egypt, who beat them 55-14 before the North Africans overcame Morocco in the semi-finals to book a place against host Tunisia. The Kenyan team had hoped to beat Algeria in their 5th to 8th place semi-final yesterday, but it was not to be as they were beaten 35-28. They didn't give up to beat Burundi in the placement matches. The team is expected back home on Saturday. Moses Omondi Sial of Trailblazers Volleyball Club has inked a season-long deal with Tunisian and continental volleyball giant Loudia Sportive de Bousalem. The Kenyan international has signed an 8-month deal with the Tunisian side. This is the 3rd time he's playing abroad, having featured professionally in Oman and Iraq. Sialo becomes the second big exit for Trailblazers following the departure of head coach Jeffrey Omondi, who was recently appointed as a new Kenya pipeline tactician. And Christopher Nkunku was a hero for Chelsea when he scored a hat-trick in their 5-0 drubbing of Barrow in their English League Cup third-round match played at Stamford Bridge. The Blues were also gifted an own goal by the League Two side keeper Paul Furman before Pedro Neto found his way into the scoresheet. Jeremy Doku and Matheus Nunes were on target for Manchester City when they beat Watford by 2-1 at the Etihad, as Aston Villa beat Wycombe by the same margin in another match to progress to the last 16.
To feather it in for 1-0 Chelsea. Nkunku, the man who gets the goal, but a big slice of the credit goes to Joao Felix there. It was a wonderful pass.
It's going to run and over the head of Gusto, but it's come nicely for Neto. Plenty of options for him here. Moving players on the edge of the box. He backfield it to Gusto.
Oh, and that's brilliant. What a goal from Christopher Nkunku for his second of the game. Audacious from the Frenchman. He's on a hat-trick, and we've only played for 15 minutes. A thing of beauty from Christopher Nkunku.
This with Malo Gusto coming forward now, tug on the shirt from Sam Foley, and that is going to be the first yellow card of the night. We'll have to take it at some point. It is going to be Felix. He's flipped it.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely magnificent. Joao Felix to put
Nkunku on a hat-trick. He can play it for Neto or for Mudryk. There's Mudryk. Neto for his first Chelsea goal. A thing of beauty. Brilliant move. Make more of that.
Oh, Nkunku's wrestled it back for the hat-trick. There you go. Take the match ball with you, Christopher. Nightmare for Farmers. And Nkunku's not bothered about that. His first Blues.
And that's a Sport 49. More to come tomorrow, even as we preview the all-women's event that's happening Thursday night in New York, Athlos, NYC. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to you, Regina.
That puts a cap on matters news tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for an update of stories that will be happening there. Just remember also that we'll be having the memorial service for the 21 souls lost in Endarasha. That is after an inferno, as investigations are still underway. I'm Regina Manyara. Have a pleasant evening, and if you have to do it with love and for love. Good night.
I need to see the manager.
I'm the manager.
Do you know who I am?
Christopher Legori.
So you chose to work with Ronald.
Probably some things can be bought after all.
At this point, it's about what's right and wrong.
How much is Kaikara paying you?
Did I just hear my father's name?
Meaning the attitude? I'm not pleased with the decision that you made without consulting me.
What decision? Lucky, she's after my blood. That one.
Cheza Loto, shinda pesa
Ikiwa ni weekly show yako ambayo inakupatia weekly draw na inakupatia weekly winning kila wakati mahali popote. Karibu kwenye show yako ya kipekee ambayo inakupatia ushindi na ushindi na ushindi. Ikiwa leo tuko na usaidizi, ikiwa leo tuko na washindi, na bado niko na watatu ambao wako kwa the other side ya studio, ikiwa ni Loto Star 570 hash. Majina ni nani dadangu?
Dona Waswa.
Dona Waswa. Kutoka area gani?
Kutoka Kamega.
Shughuli unafanya gani?
Nafanya tu na hustle tu.
Big man. Majina nani?
Samuel Ngugi.
Samuel Ngugi kutoka maeneo gani?
Molo.
Unataka nini hapa?
Nataka